Okay, so we have a mom who
Uh-huh.
is trying to sue the school and the mothers of the daughters who are cyberbullying her daughter, who was the one who started it by calling them whores.
Okay. So what it sounds like is the parents of the daughters who got called whores needs to get off their fucking asses. I get that you're in Deep River and you're all a bunch of fucking white people. Like, lawsuits should be nothing new to any of you fucks. Fucking countersuit. They've got proof.
It's true, which is why it's ridiculous. It's like, lady, you know you're not gonna get your money. Okay. You go, lady. You try. Best of luck to you.
I mean, you could say that. We could also say that there weren't Jews that were killed in World War II, but it doesn't change the fact.
Why do we keep coming back to this?
I'm so confused. What were you trying to prove with this statement?
I was saying.
He's just obsessed with talking
See,
about
I was saying the lady was wrong, and is wrong, and should feel bad.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, like the Nazis.
It's just like, we're not necessarily disagreeing with your point. We're more just like, why do you keep bringing it up? And
Why is that metaphor?
It's just like, you know what this reminds me of? The plight of the Jews in World War II. Why does that
Alright,
remind
fine.
you?
Let's go even further back. Let's go to ancient Egypt.
Okay. I mean, that still feels somewhat unnecessary, but okay.
Hey, Michael, how was your day today? You know, on a day like this, the Jews were burning.
Yes. Excuse me? See, I was going to offer you the snow cone, but now I don't want to.
That's funny, because the Jews didn't get snow cones.
Science fact.
Science fact.
Real science facts. Religion doesn't matter. Anyone who thinks it does should burn.
Alright, I feel this is reached.
Our viewers must hate us.
Especially
or
the
they
Jewish
will.
ones.
I feel like with the number of Nazi jokes that you make on a hourly basis, if they didn't already hate you.
Ooh.
So
So,
who's ready?
last time on Dragon Ball Z.
I'm Freddy.
Nice to meet you, Freddy. I am Hans.
I am Julio.
I always answer the phone as,
I can't.
hello, this is Pablo, when I'm taking April's call or something. She'll call me up.
I'm
And
pretty
I'll be
sure
like,
I've
hello,
heard you
this
do
is
that.
Pablo. What?
Fairly certain I've heard you answer the phone. This is Pablo.
Yeah, you probably have. This is
Can't move.
something I've done for quite some time now, and someday it will get me in deep doo-doo. But
Perhaps.
for now, I answer the phone with
Hello,
Pablo.
my name is Pablo, and my family hates me.
No!
Why do we keep going these like depressing angles? Why does Pablo's family have to hate him?
Why can't he just be a normal guy with a 401k and everything?
First of all, no one normal has a 401k, alright?
I have a 401k.
I actually think
Case in point.
I think I might also have a 401k.
Case in point.
Okay.
How do you have a 401k?
I'm
don't.
I'm full time. I'm fairly
Oh, I
certain.
drove a car today.
Great. Did you crash and kill 7 people?
No, it's a shame.
Then I don't care about your story.
Alright, fine.
If there
You
were
can
not
suck
at
my
least
dick.
17 casualties, I'm not interested.
I mean, fine, I'll just go find Trevor.
Oh,
You spun it in a way I wasn't expecting, and you made me lose my shit.
What does that mean?
We're getting
This
homosexual
just got
up
gay.
in here.
So,
Are we starting anytime soon, or?
we are, yes.
Okay.
Some wonderful outtakes.
You mean
Outtakes.
outtakes?
I just want a video of all the outtakes we've ever had on this. That's
What do you
all
mean outtakes?
You mean outtakes? This is an intro.
This is the same shit that would have happened on the co-optional podcast before
Yeah.
TB passed. Rest in peace, that man.
May God rest his soul.
Whichever
Wait.
god he followed.
You know it's kind of a big deal when Satan says God rest his soul.
Perhaps.
Look, Satan wasn't a bad guy. He just had different ideals.
You know, you're not wrong.
Like the Nazis.
Oh my god! Not at all like the Nazi.
You know what this story reminds me of?
The
Nazi Germany.
Holocaust.
You know, Marina, I met a young girl like you. Her name was Anne Frank.
Oh my fucking
I
I'd
god!
like you
This
to
is-
follow in her footsteps.
I feel like
Guy?
this is somewhat worse because he had like the Donald Trump voice going.
Insinuating that Trump met Anne Frank.
That is, I hadn't actually considered that angle of this thought process, and I don't know how that makes me feel either.
So, last time, the party was continuing on with their current plans. Lucas had found the two women that he and George rescued from the Red Claw Raiders, I guess. Gifted them 2 bullet necklaces, as well as 50 caps each. Then he went to get some radiation testing done. A lot was learned. He learned specifically that with enough rads, he can get a bonus to all of his stats. Lucas himself doesn't know that, but, you know, Matt knows that.
Player
Lucas is
knowledge.
all-
Yeah. To Lucas, it just seemed like every part of his body just got more focused and honed. Which
Also,
is-
his arms became string cheese.
they can do that as well, with the rad whip.
Watch me get
However,
whipped.
stop it. The downside to getting to the stage right before the rad whip, where he gets the buff, is that he gives off light amounts of radiation. Past the rad whip, you don't know anything about that yet.
Yeah, because by that point the room was just radiation.
The whole room was radiation, so you couldn't get a gauge. And neither could the scientists.
Now, the buff. Now, did the second buff occur before the rad whip?
Yes.
Okay, because I couldn't quite tell because Marina kept the scientists busy for a minute, so it just kind of happened.
So,
Nazi.
She watched you whip. She watched you
Watch you nay nay.
Is that a comment on my dick flapping around in the chamber?
You know, I had kind of forgotten you were naked, and that has
I
changed
forgot
the
about that
connotation
completely.
of this in ways that I am not comfortable with.
So, for Lucas and you, Matt, I don't know how you want to take this down, if you want to write this in your own notes, but as far as you can tell, the stages so far are, at the very beginning, you can detect radiation within a close proximity, which continuously gets farther and farther as you go down the tree. You then get a general boost to all of your attributes, that being the +1 stat. Then you get to the Rad Whip. You don't know exactly how much damage or anything that does yet, but it is a Rad Whip. And then further beyond that, you get another buff to all of your stats. You don't know if there's anything before or after that that you just weren't able to see being in that controlled environment.
Okay.
But
So just so I can write this down in order, we have Reaver Ball 1, Detect Rads, Reaver Ball 2, Feral Strength 1. Now, does Feral Strength 2 come before or after the whips?
the Feral Strength comes before the whip.
Well, I'm talking about the second upgrade to that.
The second one comes after it.
Okay.
And
I don't know if that was the name you gave for it, but I figured it fit pretty well.
it's basically what it is.
Mhm.
You're just losing parts of you that are really holding you back. So,
Who needs arms?
Also, it occurred to me the other day where, if and when we get into combat again that is a little more intense, I can pop off a Reaver Ball and bump myself to Feral Strength 1 at the start of combat.
good.
Mm-hmm.
George
Mm-hmm.
chastised Nancy for her plans.
I feel like it wasn't so much
Losing my shit through that whole
chastised.
thing.
I feel like he was more just incredulous.
Potato, potato.
Potato, sclabado, scubato, potato.
Then, at the approaching of a rad storm, he and Nancy both went inside to the Arkwing to go talk to Timothy, who, upon reaching his office, you found that he's getting ready to go outside because due to the rad storm, the defense of the town is heavily down. All the people who don't have power armor pretty much have to come inside. And all the citizens were getting into their houses, into their community houses. So the only people outside at this moment are ghouls and paladins. Timothy going out to join the defense in his own power armor.
Mm.
Nancy asks Timothy, with a little push from George, for help with her plans to detox her parents.
For which he was surprisingly receptive to.
Yeah, I found that pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, I do have a question for John about that, actually.
Okay.
Were you disappointed that Nancy's original plans were trashed, or are you happy that they were trashed?
I think that would be revealing too much.
Narratively, happy. Personally, very disappointed.
I knew it.
I mean, he did have, like, maybe the storm was already coming, but he was definitely using the thunder to comment on the plan as it was being come up with. Just like, so we're gonna drug my parents?
Distant thunder.
And with a pretty open mind, Timothy says, so long as the Brotherhood isn't seen basically taking Nancy's mother and father out of their homes and into the Arkwing, he'll be able to put them in an induced coma while they detox and be stationed in the medical center.
Woo!
So your only plan now is how are you going to get them into said coma?
I already know.
You also have Jessica looking for Jessica and Hannah looking
Oh,
for essentially sleeping gas.
you should probably tell Hannah to stop with the sleeping gas search. Huh.
I don't think Hannah can be stopped.
That's a good point.
So, while and everything that was happening with Lucas and Nancy, you had gone in after getting the approval of Timothy to find Lucas and stuck around for the majority of his testing. Uh, the whole testing itself took around maybe 2 hours from start to finish. So during those 2 hours, we're going to flip over to George.
Good.
George, so you said you were going out to join in the defense of Shackleton, correct?
Yes, this is correct.
Okay. When you go outside, because when you had come inside, it was already starting to drizzle out.
Yep.
It isn't exactly a downpour, but it is a steady rain right now. The clouds overhead do have a menacing green tint to them. And you see, well, apparently you see a typhoon.
Yep.
Let's see, I'm gonna assume that's Matt. No, it's
Is it me?
Marina.
Oh, is it me? I'm sorry. Hold on.
God, blaming Matt. Rude.
Matt, go fuck yourself, right?
I mean, later, but fuck you.
So, as you go outside, you see the majority of the defenses are no longer there. The last two walls are completely unguarded. It seems all of the paladins have moved to the first outermost wall and are just patrolling that to make sure that it's safe.
Okay.
It seems if they have to, they'll fall back to the other two walls if they have to. You do see James in a prominently larger power armor than pretty much all of the other paladins. His power armor is basically just take the power armor and scale it up by like 20%.
Good. Great.
Timothy is wearing a similar suit of power armor. Same exact design as generic Brotherhood of Steel power armor, just bigger.
Okay.
So it's very clear to see where James and Timothy are along the wall.
All right.
So you're outside right now during a rad storm. I don't think synths have a Geiger counter.
But he definitely, at the very least, knows it is radioactive.
Yes. At the very least, you've been around long enough to where you know. But yeah, because I was going to say if you had one, it would just be going off right now.
Yeah, he doesn't know if it's sort of uncomfortable for squishies or if it's face melting.
Yeah. But it seems that the majority of people, if not everyone, just assumes the worst and has gone inside.
I mean, that's fair.
So, you're just coming down the ramp and you see Timothy and James walking out. Well, James is already on the first wall. Timothy is walking out from the gates to go to the first wall.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I guess he's gonna follow him for now?
Okay. So as you follow behind Timothy, you do see that all of the paladins that are usually either walking around, talking, sometimes with their helmets off, sometimes with their helmets on, they were never as alert as right now,
Mm.
considering their defenses are, and as you can see, cut down well more than half.
Mm.
The Brotherhood is not primarily made up of paladins.
Yeah.
It's just that's their strongest fighters, and they're also the ones that can survive in a rad storm.
Yep.
So Timothy has started to climb up the stairs that are leading to the top of the first wall, which is also the most heavily upgraded, as it were.
Mm.
Do you want to go up with him?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay. So, when you walk up the stairs, you get a good look out into the field, again, as the settlement and the Brotherhood, probably, based on your assumption,
Mm.
have really cleared a good mile and a half of the trees just
Mm.
away so that nothing can really sneak up on them. You don't know how long that took, but they
Yeah.
did it. And no one is really talking. There is the occasional light conversation you hear.
Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Uh, Go ahead and make a perception check.
All right. 14.
14. Okay. So, as you're really thinking of what you can do to help out most during this rad storm, you're looking out over into the fields, over to the tree line. You're not really seeing much of anything. The clouds look like they're getting a bit darker, and further out, as they're rolling in, it looks even darker further out. Uh, you do see the occasional flash of lightning. The rain has progressively gotten worse and worse.
Mm.
And are you going to be circling the wall or just sticking with Timothy?
I guess I'm gonna circle the wall.
Okay. And just so you know, Timothy is sticking to the main gate out in front.
Yeah. George is gonna search the outskirts. If it seems like no one is really bothering to do that, that's what he's gonna do.
There are a few paladins that are circling. The majority of them are stationary, so there's not much that they're really moving or doing anything. It seems like they're just scanning around.
Yeah.
And as you're circling the wall, you do hear idle conversation, uh, mainly just the occasional paladin you pass by and you hear, "Oh, tonight's a bad one." Or you hear different variations of, "Oh, this storm looks like it's gonna last."
Mm.
So it seems like the storm has become really the main focus of everything. Some of the paladins who look a bit more on edge, you do hear, "Was that something I saw out there?" No, 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 couldn't have been, couldn't have been.
Mm.
So you're just doing a perimeter around the wall?
Yeah, just tell me if and when I can make another perception check.
Alright. I will say, once you do one full rotation around the wall, which takes you a good 15 minutes, you get back to the front gate where Timothy is. He looks... You can't really gauge, but he is more alert than usual. He doesn't seem as idle. It's more of his head is just doing a constant, like, surveillance camera scan.
That's
Just
fair.
making sure everything is okay. James, on the other hand, He's just circling around the wall, pretty much same as you were.
Mm.
So, when you get back to the front, do you want to do another lap?
Yeah, George is gonna do another lap.
Alright, make a perception check.
Alright. Do, 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 do. That is a 19. Holy shit.
19. Okay. So, this time, as you're circling around, you do pass by the Arcwing. As you're going over to the direction where the storm is coming from, so the storm is coming from west and moving east.
Mm.
And as you get on the west part of the wall, the same people before that you heard asking if they saw something, you still pass by and they're still asking. This time they're leaning over to one of the other paladins and pointing over to the tree line and saying, is that something out there? And the paladin, he asks, looks over at him, looks over at the tree line, just gives a shake of his head. Nah, man, you're just seeing things.
George feels uncomfortable.
Do you want to try and look at where he was looking?
Yeah, George is absolutely gonna look over there, and George is actively going to look for something that isn't there.
Okay.
He is expecting to see nothing move.
Going off of your previous perception roll, as that one hasn't gone through yet, as you're looking over into the tree line, same as him, you swear you see something out there.
Mm-hmm.
It is a dark shape that is moving very low to the ground, moving in and out of the tree line, mainly staying out of it, but
Mm.
staying closer to the west-hand side of the wall. And as you notice that one, you try and get a better look at it, and that one shape that was originally just going to the left starts going to the right, keeps going a little further, goes into the tree line again, comes back out, and then you see another black shape staying low to the ground, going to the left as the original one you saw is going to the right. And as you're deciding which one to focus on,
Mm-hmm.
the treetops further back are rustling, and it seems like something big is headed your way.
George is gonna sort of take a couple steps back. He's gonna look at the paladins. There is absolutely multiple things over there.
The paladin that was trying to get everyone's attention looks over at you. Yeah, I know, man. There's definitely something out there. I'm trying to tell these guys. And the other more
George-
skeptical paladin looks over at both of you now. There's nothing out there.
George looks at him. Remember those invisible monsters that killed like 5 dogs, 3 people? I was there for that. I'm the one who warned you about those. I'm telling you, I see something out there. I see a couple somethings. And look at the treetops. They're moving.
Both of them look over to the treetops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Both of them, even the one who was saying he saw something, you just hear passively, no, that's just the wind. No, no, there's something low to the ground. I believe you on that.
Okay, fine. We'll worry about the big one later. Either way, I'm telling you,
There are at least 3 things out there. I'm guessing more. I can't make out any definitive traits. They're dark. Can George get a vague idea of their size? Are they human-ish size? Are they bigger? Are they smaller?
The ones that are low to the ground look slightly bigger than humans. But they're doing their damnedest to really stay smaller than humans. Like they're actively either on all fours or just combat crawling.
Whatever these things are, they're actively trying not to be seen. And he looks at the paladins. They're encircling us. They're gathering and waiting for their moment.
As you're saying this, you can see.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. Sorry? I have not yet.
Yes, we have a call to remind us to do it.
Okay. Sorry about that.
All right. So, yeah, you can see that they are actively trying to either look smaller than they appear, or are either that small, but from this distance, you just cannot tell.
Yeah.
The 2 paladins that you just told that were being encircled begin to look unsettled, but not too terribly worried. Like, and even then, you can't really tell that they look unsettled because they're in fucking power armor.
George is going to look at them. Radio to everyone else on the walls and tell them to look for what we're seeing. We need to know if they're over here exclusively or if they're everywhere.
They look between each other, and the one that was more skeptical looks to you. If I radio this in and there's nothing out there, it's my ass.
Yes, I'm sure Timothy will have you skinned alive for trying to do your job.
Very well. And he holds up his hands. I'll radio in. And after a brief moment you hear, Yeah, it's me. Yeah, we're getting reports of some things on the tree line. Just be aware that there might be something out there. Have all sectors see if they see anything out there. Better be on our guards for this one. And then he looks over at you. You happy?
I'll be happy if we survive. And George is just going to keep watching them for now.
So you're going to stay at the left-hand side?
For now, yeah. He doesn't know that they're anywhere else. Yet.
Alright.
And to my understanding, they have to cross a clearing to get to us.
They do, yes.
So, for the time being, George is going to just sort of remain passive.
Alright. So you want to try to get a better look at them, or just...
George is going to specifically try watching the tree line for this larger thing that he suspects is coming.
Okay. After a while of looking, I'm going to say make another perception roll.
Alright. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. That is a 17.
17. Okay. So, as you are looking over to the tree line, you do see the trees are still rustling, so it does look like something large is still coming your direction at a very slow pace, because you see the trees Further out are shaking, but something odd catches your eye that it takes you a little bit to notice or to at least catch on to.
Hmm.
The big thing that's out there does not move when it seems quiet, and quiet being relative considering the rain. You only see the treetops start rustling when there is thunder. And
Hmm.
whatever is out there seems to try and move as fast as possible to try and get closer with each thunderclap.
George is going to look at the paladin again. Say, look, I know you're sick of me. Another theory. And you can test this one yourself before you call it in if you want. Watch the treetops when there's a thunderclap.
He looks at you, then you hear an audible, and then he looks over to the tree line.
Right?
About 20 seconds or so pass before the flash of lightning cracks overhead,
Hmm.
and another probably 3 or 4 seconds before you hear a loud boom. And just as you hear him go, "See, what did I..." Oh,
Yeah, it's covering its tracks.
he looks over at you. Okay. Timothy and James are on this wall, right?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe you should go tell them.
Okay. You guys just keep your eyes open. And George is going to go run off to find either Timothy or James. Last he saw, it was it Timothy or James who was also walking the wall?
James was also walking the wall.
So George is going to try and find James.
Okay. As you do you want to go back the way you came, or do you want to make another loop around the wall?
Which direction was James walking? Was he walking clockwise or counterclockwise?
James was walking clockwise. To make another loop, you would have to go clockwise. To go back the way you came, counterclockwise.
Well, seeing as James hasn't passed us again, George is going to go counterclockwise and hopefully run into him.
Okay. As you start going counterclockwise, you see both of the paladins that you just left have their guns raised and are either looking down their sights or are just watching the tree line with their guns raised.
Mm.
But either way, they seem more alert than they were before. Some of the other paladins that either heard the radio transmission sent out or were given new orders are all scanning the tree lines.
Mm.
And you can see everyone is making an active effort to find something.
Yeah.
And after a moment of running about halfway back to where you were, you do find James a little more alert and less just running laps around the outer wall.
Mm. Have you heard the...
yeah, he's just walking.
Yep, as George gets up to him. Have you heard the good news?
He looks over to you and through the ever familiar, I guess, auto-tuning of the power armor. Yeah. Seems like we got some trouble.
Uh-huh. We have some slightly larger than human trouble, from what I can tell. And something I'm willing to bet is a lot larger than a human trouble.
I assume you were the one that found it?
Yes. Specifically, there are ones low to the ground trying to hide amidst the tree line, and there's something larger that is camouflaging its movements with the thunderclaps, which indicates a pretty decent level of intelligence.
How big do you think this thing was?
Enough to shake the trees.
Well, take me there.
All right. And George leads him back to where he was.
All right. Walking back the way you came again. When you get back to the tree line, after waiting a moment and showing James exactly where to look,
Mm.
lightning flashes again, and this time a shorter distance between the thunderclap, about really 1 to 2 seconds, because it seems the storm is just right above you.
Mm.
You do see the tree rustling has gotten very close. It seems like one more clap of thunder and it'll be at the tree line.
It's about to be here.
Well, and he looks down to you. What do you say? Meet it on the field of battle or stay on the wall?
George looks at James. I'm okay with meeting on the field of battle with you. I say we leave the rest here. Maybe we can hold them back a bit.
All right. Sounds like a plan. And he jumps off the wall.
Good. Yeah, I suppose George jumps off too.
All right. As you both land, James landing with a much louder thud.
Mm.
You hear him say, "Boy, gonna need you over at the west side, just in case."
Yeah, George is kind of... He realizes that's almost certainly addressed to Timothy.
Presumably. So, are you going to walk towards the tree line, or are you going to stay where you are?
James is gonna... George is gonna follow James's lead.
All right.
So if James approaches, he's gonna approach.
James is in fact approaching.
Yeah, George approaches. George also has the double mag out.
All right. As you approach, another clap of thunder above head.
Mm.
And as you're getting closer and closer to the tree line,
Mm.
you could swear you hear really loud thumps coming from the tree line
Uh-huh.
when you hear thunder ahead.
Uh-huh.
So,
Why do
Are
I
you-
feel like I know what this is?
what is it?
I mean, I've got a pretty good idea of what it is.
I think it's... we'll see. George has zero idea what it is. If anything, he probably thinks it could be a behemoth, but he's not positive. Oh yeah, Marina, if you're back for clarity, behemoths are also an enemy variant in Fallout that are very
How is it
different.
Unrelated, that are unrelated to the behemoth that you know and questionably
Yeah,
love.
Michael Behemoth was his original character, so I was like, what? What? Wait,
Super mutant behemoths are super mutants that are roughly somewhere between like 10 and maybe like 20 feet tall.
Unless you're Swan, in which case you're almost 30 feet tall.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. I feel like it's good that there's one person in this kind of campaign who doesn't really know the games that well, so
It
that
is.
in case somebody who's listening to this in the future or at the present time, I don't know,
It's also
kind of like
it's also, I would say, ironic and both beneficial that the character being played by that player is also in her like design somewhat naive to the wasteland.
yeah, because she's never left her settlement until this
Whereas
campaign.
yeah, whereas the two veteran Fallout players are playing as grouchy old men
Yep.
who've seen a fair bit of shit.
Yeah.
George is, however, still terrified. Or town.
So, it
So
seems
yeah,
that
I assume George and James are just sort of watching.
it seems that whatever is in the tree line is about to come out. Is there anything that you want to do beforehand, or just wait for it to show itself?
George is gonna make sure the double mag is loaded, and that's about it.
Okay. So, as another clap of thunder roars above head, you see a large hand grip a little above halfway up the tree and kind of gently push it out the way as you see this large green lumbering figure carrying a makeshift great axe, almost
Is exactly.
almost triple the size of you, George. His great axe. You see, breaking from the tree line, a gigantic super mutant behemoth. And as it breaks through the tree line, I'm gonna need you to roll for initiative.
All right. Can I make one like perception roll as well? Because George, immediately upon seeing this thing, with the very little he knows about what's been happening, he wants to see if it's sporting any augmentations.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say
he wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
I will say
Say your thing.
that before combat starts, just as it breaks through the tree line and is coming out, you can get a quick perception roll in.
I got a 15 for initiative, and
Okay.
a 13. Actually, no, it would be a 15 for perception.
All right. And you're looking for specifically any augmentations to this behemoth?
Yes. Yep. Specifically, he wants to see if there's something on its head, but he's also kind of scanning the rest of it as well.
Okay. Looking over the behemoth, his face is, uh, oddly enough, partly caved in. His left cheek is just pushed in, so his mouth is in a constant open state, and you see these big, almost tusk-like teeth, which you assume were the canines at one point. His body seems very well built. His arms are just massive. He wears a single, essentially loincloth to cover his family jewels. And his legs seem pretty natural, albeit, the size of fucking bisons, but overall, he looks like a normal super mutant behemoth.
Okay.
His axe, which he's holding in one arm,
Of course.
Again, pretty massive axe.
Uh-huh.
Looks to be a piece of concrete and telephone pole that was just ripped up from the ground and formed into the shape of an axe.
Right.
All right. And so that's all you really wanted to look for?
Yeah. What?
All right.
George is just gonna look at James and just say, "Alert, alert, crowd." It's like it's a behemoth. And George is still in the back of his mind, really fucking terrified that this is not the only behemoth.
Screaming internally.
Yep. So no, that's not a George scream. Ah! Yeah, animal. Oh my god. So yeah, George had the 15. So I don't know if George comes last, first.
All right. So, I will say that as it does break the tree line, you do turn to James and say, "Alert the men." You do hear, coming from him, "All right, guns up. Let's do this."
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And George, it is your turn.
Uh-huh. Okay. George is going to, as soon as I'm done putting syrup on my Agos,
Also, when you get a
he's
chance,
going to... Uh-huh.
just open the encounter sheet.
Okay. George, 16 to hit.
16 to hit.
Yep.
All right, that hits.
Alright, George's gonna roll damage. That is a 19 plus... What does he get?
What are you firing with?
The double mag.
Double mag. For the double
Yep.
mag, I believe you get.
I think it's either a +1 or +2 plus whatever his agility is, because I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
he's
being-
modified the sights on it.
It's being very slow.
It is a +4.
Cool.
Ooh.
So, yes.
Specifically,
It got
He's
a buff,
aim-
rightfully so.
He's aiming for its gonads.
You're gonna shoot it in the nuts? Oh boy!
Okay.
George
You-
realizes this is a terrible idea.
You pull up the
Do it
double mag.
anyway.
You hesitate between aiming for its head, and then after a moment, your eye line just goes down. Your gun follows. You fire.
And your decision is made.
You
Say
fire.
our prayers, children.
And even though this massive lumbering figure is, for all intents and purposes, walking calmly towards you, as soon as you fire, it buckles backwards, drops the axe as it grips where its balls are, looks down at his hands, looks up at you, and all you hear is
George. It's not armed anymore. It's still a. It's not armed. George would rather
John.
get punched than hit with a telephone pole.
John, was that scream loud enough for me to hear?
no.
No,
Really?
you're deep. You're deep inside the bowels of the ship.
You're,
Neither
for
you
one,
nor Nancy can hear.
For one, it's raining. 2, you're in the ship. 3, you're in a chamber inside
Oh,
of
that's
the
going
ship.
on currently. Okay.
Yes.
So this is what George has been doing while I was buck naked testing out powers.
Yes.
Alright, sounds good. Have fun, Michael.
Well, you two were fucking having a grand old time in the testing bay.
Look, be careful
George
what you
is
say. You
playing
might make a
super-
fucking while you did this, I studied the blade meme.
Jesus Christ. Oh. While you were stripping in front of scientists, I was studying the behemoth balls. Anyway.
Okay then.
Anyway.
I'm just gonna let you.
While you were stripping naked in front of scientists and you were looking at behemoth balls, I was screaming at scientists.
Good. Perhaps the most logical of us,
Yup.
if I'm being honest.
So,
That scientist lady was a perv.
Yeah, that's fair. I like how we're having. I like to imagine George is just frozen, like everything is like paused. You're having this conversation. And George just kind of butts in, like, can we go back to the fact that I was probably about to die?
Yeah, after I rant about how disgusting that woman was. No, as I was saying, she's perfect. Hentai.
It unpauses, but Nancy doesn't stop talking.
as George gets lifted up and his spine gets broken, you just hear, "She was an awful pervert, really."
Not only did she nuke my friend, but she also made him strip. She was into some weird ass shit.
Alright.
So, is that going to be the end of your turn, or do you want to move?
I'm gonna say George is gonna take a couple steps back.
Okay.
Not enough to really make a difference, but enough to assert that he is already contemplating the consequences of this decision.
I will say, as you take a step back,
Mm-hmm.
the behemoth looks up,
Mm-hmm.
looks over at you,
Mm-hmm.
and you see nothing but hatred in his eyes.
Good.
Actually, I'm gonna say George specifically steps away from James.
Okay.
Wise decision.
Alright. It is now James's turn.
Mm-hmm.
James, seeing the behemoth throw down his weapon, you see he throw down his rifle
Oh
and
no.
starts bull charging this super mutant behemoth.
You idiot!
It's what he would do.
He uses his action and his movement to move as far as he can get,
And
Which
then
is-
it's gonna be the behemoth's turn.
which is close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next up, it is the behemoth's turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, the behemoth is going to reach down, use an action to pick up his axe, start sprinting forward, and he has not looked away from you, George. As he's sprinting forward, he's going to use his axe to bat James aside.
You shot the dude in the nuts, Michael. He's coming for your bitch ass.
Choice: his health and safety, or the town's health and safety.
So, as
Do
you're
it.
watching during this rainstorm, I might add,
Mm-hmm.
the behemoth is charging at you. James is charging at him.
Mm-hmm.
As he has picked up his axe, he lifts it up and, like a golf swing, swats at James, and James gets sent flying. He
Good.
takes,
Oh boy.
not that much, honestly.
2 damage.
He took 18 damage.
I mean, for James, that ain't shit.
Right? But
George
he was
hears
sent.
Whee!
He was sent flying a considerable distance. And as the behemoth is charging at you, James is charging at him. He lifts up for the swing, swats at James, and you hear. So he is
Good.
getting close to you.
Mm-hmm.
Swinging
George,
a swooty. He's coming for the booty.
actually, it is the guards on the wall turn.
Okay. Good. I hope they follow in George's footsteps.
Shoot him in the nuts. Shoot him in the dick!
It's the only way!
That's a miss. That one hits. That's a miss. And that's a miss. The 4 guards that were nearest, they all start shouting for help. They're all screaming for backup, reinforcements. And you could swear you hear one of them shouting, "Someone get the fuck over here." As they all lift up their rifles and just start unloading. You see the majority of the shots are whizzing past and going into the tree line. You cannot fathom how they're missing this large of a behemoth. By the by, 35 feet high.
Yeah, George is just gonna under his breath say, and this is why we should have beaten the Brotherhood.
One of them, or a few of the shots do land square into the chest of this charging behemoth. They deal 11 points of damage to it. But it seems hell-bent on charging at you.
Yeah, not surprised.
I mean, he shot him in the dick.
And you do see more of the guards are starting to cluster up on the west wall. There are more guards coming. You don't know where Timothy is. He's on his way, assumedly.
Hopefully.
You do hear
John, I think you're...
What?
No, I can wait.
You do hear a few of the guards on the wall shouting, "It's a fucking super behemoth." But yeah.
Alright. So, it's George's turn, yes?
It is, yes.
Good. Good. I rolled a nat 20.
What are you trying to do?
I am going to shoot it. Now, I will let you choose. George is thinking of 2 particular locations he could shoot. He could go for the
dick?
eyes.
Or the other nut.
He's either going for the eyes or he's going for the balls. Yeah.
Okay. Marina.
George is the... Okay. Marina? We can't hear you. If you're talking, you might be muted.
Sorry, I was helping Doug.
Okay.
What up?
High or low?
Oh.
I gotta
Okay.
stay high all the time to keep you off my mind. Whoa, whoa.
Okay.
So yeah, hi.
George's hearing this in the back of his head.
All right.
As death comes for him.
So you're gonna try to shoot for his eyes.
Okay then.
A natural 20 does hit, and it's a crit. Go ahead and
I was
roll
about to
damage.
say. Alright, cool. So that's 2 damage die.
Real
That
quick.
is.
What?
Just for fuckery's sake, I would love to imagine that as George is dying, he just hears Nancy sing, "Can't go back to Constantinople because can't."
And no one will ever know those were his last thoughts until someone resurrects him, and his corpse is just gonna go. Oh, and now it's again Constantinople. Alright, so the first
Good old New York.
Was
We're
it-
going to Amsterdam.
Okay. The first damage roll was another 20, so that's 24.
All right.
The second one is a more modest 15. Does that still get the +4 though?
It does, yes.
Okay, cool. So that's a 19. It's a 24 and a 19
All right.
for the eyes.
As you shoot up at its face as it is just blindingly charging at you, you do manage to land it square in the right eye. As the bullet, you can clearly see, rips through the eye. You don't know how far into the head it got. It does, once again, drop the axe, lift both of its hands up to cover its eye and claw at where the bullet went, and it just starts shouting as loud as it can as it stumbles backwards a little bit. And then, after it's done and the pain doesn't really seem to subside, it looks down at you with its one good eye, and you see it just bares its teeth at you.
Uh-huh.
And it's just looking straight at you.
George yells at it. What's you mad about? I made you a Cyclops!
It is now James's turn. He... Oh, I need to roll to see if this happens.
Oh no.
Okay. And that hits. Alright.
What is happening? There are a lot of dice being rolled.
There are. Alright. So, as you're looking up at this furious super mutant behemoth, you hear from the right side of you,
Oh, it's the jetpack.
and as you're watching it, James slowly enters your peripheral vision, and essentially, Superman punches the behemoth in the other side of his face,
Good.
slightly caving in his other cheek, as the behemoth, his head just gets thrown sideways as James lands next to him, right after jetpacking up into the air and just slamming his fist as hard as he can into it. He dealt
Good.
32 points of damage to it.
George is gonna yell at the behemoth as it stumbles over. Now we just need electrical.
Next up is the behemoth.
Mm-hmm.
The behemoth, originally focused on you, is now looking between you and James.
You know, with the one eye.
Yeah, with the one eye. He looks over to James.
Perception be shot now?
Oh, it is. He's
Okay.
looking between
Does that
you.
mean it's gonna roll it?
Huh?
Does that mean it's gonna roll at disadvantage to attack?
To perception attacks, yes.
Okay. He's gonna stare angrily at you.
So,
What region and George is effectively like halved its attack.
essentially, he's no longer holding his axe.
Mm.
As he seems to not be able to decide who he wants to attack, he just reaches towards both of you as he walks forward a little to be able to get into range of both of you.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to grab both of you. George, make a strength saving roll.
Okay. He does have his arm. That is an 18 natural plus for 6. I can't remember which. 6.
Alright, so you got
24.
24. Okay. You get picked up by the behemoth. James also gets picked up by the behemoth with
I'll say you weren't getting out of that.
a
Yeah, I
strength
feel
check of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, you
Mhm.
rolled one higher and you would have gotten out.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, the DC on that one was 25.
God fucking damn it.
So, for now, both of you are considered restrained and technically grappled.
Can I shoot it on my next turn?
You would have to wiggle one of your arms free.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is part of what the specific restrained condition is. It is either disadvantage or complete inability to attack.
Mm.
So, next up, it is the men on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Miss. Miss. Hit. Miss. Hard miss. And a hit.
I'm
So-
waiting for a wish he'd missed.
So out of 6 paladins that are there, 2 of them have hit. Alright, some quick math. You see the paladins just unloading into the chest of this behemoth. One of them does divert his fire to the hand holding James. And one of them
Mm-hmm.
deals 3 points of damage to James with a natural 1.
That's exactly what I was afraid was going to happen.
Alright. So, top of the round,
Mhm.
George.
So George is going to roll to wiggle his left arm free, the horrifying monster arm, which he wields the double mag in. That is a 18 total.
18. Alright.
Yep.
Okay. You do manage to not get out of his grip, but push against his hand enough to get it to where it opens up, and you can wiggle one of your arms out.
All right. I have rolled a 17 total to shoot it in the other eye.
Okay. A 17 hits. So you
All
can go
right.
ahead and roll for damage.
And all right, give me once. Crap! It's only on crits. God damn it! I wanted to use bloody mess. I should have used bloody mess earlier. I forgot he had it. Okay, so yeah, yours is gonna roll damage again, specifically to shoot it in the other eye. That is a 18 total.
18. Right. By the way, when you do get a crit, you also do have crit banker.
Oh yeah, it's true. So I guess he had. Yeah, I could have saved it.
So, as you aim up with the double mag into his other eye, you do fire, and it does hit the eye. You do see the same, pretty much mini explosion in the eye as it stumbles backwards. It is going to try and
Great.
hold on to both of you. Make another strength saving check.
Okay. Do 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 do. That is a natural 20. Okay then.
All right. As it stumbles back, its grip on you seems to loosen for just a moment, and in that moment, you're able to wiggle your way out and drop to the ground, free from its grasp. You watch as it stumbles backwards. It looks like his hand releases slightly from James, but James, being in a bulky power armor, isn't able to wiggle out as easily as you were, as his grip gets tighter onto James. And the strength from that alone deals 6 points of damage to him.
Good.
Alright.
Great.
Next up is James. He's going to try and break out of its grasp. Ooh. Doesn't manage the first time. He is going to use his action to try and break free. Still fails.
Good.
So you see him struggling frantically to try and break out of the super mutant behemoth's grip, but for whatever reason he's just not strong enough to do it. Next up, the behemoth.
Hucks him like a ragdoll.
Funny enough, as he is swinging his arms wildly, he can feel he still has something in his hand. He lifts his arm up as high as it'll go, and basically football spikes James.
I shouldn't be laughing. Just like the concept of him is getting football spiked.
Currently imagining now, after the football spike, the Super Mutant Behemoth doing the, like, Running Man clapping dance.
Yep.
You just see behind him in big flashing letters, touchdown.
Yep. Just starts doing Fortnite dances. I can perfectly imagine someone going into like the fucking source filmmaker rigging a super mutant to do that. Anyway.
So, with its movement, it is going to as you see him throw James to the ground. Both of its eyes are bleeding now, and it's trying to look around to see anything I can see. The men on the wall are still firing at it, and he just starts sprinting straight towards that wall.
Oh no. Okay.
All right. So, top of the round. George, how would you like to ruin this man's day further?
Pull a Lucas. Pull a Lucas. Shoot it in the kneecap.
Give me a minute to think. I need a minute to think.
All right.
I need to
Cool.
look
And
at
just a dumb update. I've been hand whipping strawberry mousse this whole time.
Good. I'm good for you. I'm trying to gauge. You know what? George has his shot claw. I forgot. Neat. George has rolled 20 total to stab it in the fucking legs with his shot claw.
I'm trying to think. Do you still have both of them, or just the one for your powered arm?
I thought he only.
Well, you didn't give it up when you were getting your arms replaced, did you?
No, he has the powered armor arm still.
Well, yeah, but I'm
Which is
saying
the one we.
right now
Was
you're
always
wearing...
attached to the power armor arm.
Was it
His
always
legs
attached?
got replaced.
No,
What?
he right now you're wearing replacement legs and a replacement left arm. Because
Yes,
you
wait,
wanted
left
those
arm.
to get upgraded to power armor.
Because your
I think
right
there's
arm
some,
is the
like-
power armor arm right now.
Oh, I think I've written that down wrong. Either way, he still has the power armor.
Yeah, he has the power armor arm. But I'm saying, are the claws specifically attached to his original arm?
No, they're on
Or
the
do you
power
only
armor.
have one arm with the claws?
He only has one arm with the claws, but I thought he only ever had one arm with the claw.
Same.
Yeah, he only had one.
And that was just on the power armor arm?
Yeah,
It's really weird saying power armor arm.
I know it is. But yes, that was a 20 total. Wait, was it? Yes, it was.
Alright, and that's to hit.
Yep.
Alright. So as you sprint up behind this charging super mutant behemoth,
Mm-hmm.
you jam the shock claw into its leg.
I know he rolls 2d20 for damage for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you roll to hit?
He rolled a natural 20, or not a natural, 20 total.
Okay. So roll for damage.
Okay. That is 35 damage total. We never wrote down what damage bonus the shot claw gets, actually. It's considered a large weapon?
Yes, it is.
So, well, no, what would the plus for the damage be for that? Just so I can write that down for future reference.
The plus for the damage would be a +5.
Okay, then. So I need to add, I think... Do I add 1 + 5 to this, or 2 + 5s, then, to the 35?
1
Because it was
5.
2 damage rolls. Okay, so it's 40 damage.
Okay. And let me make a quick roll.
Alright.
Ooh, it fails. So, as you jam your shock claw into its leg, you feel it seize up, and its muscles just tighten around the claw to the point where you can't pull it out yet. But the entire behemoth is currently being shocked and stunned right now.
Good.
So next up is James.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to, for one, use some of his movement to get back up out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He is going
He's gonna
to,
see George fucking shanking this thing in the leg.
and he sees that its legs are buckling. So he is going to do the only thing he knows how to do, and basically rocket himself into the back of this thing's leg to try and get it to go to its knees.
Mm-hmm.
That hits.
Okay. Good.
Alright, not much damage, but he did it.
Boy, did he try.
So, he takes a running start as he runs, jumps, and as he jumps and is getting to the highest point in his jump, he curls into a ball, activates his jetpack, and rams himself into the back of this thing's knees. And as it's still getting stunned, it buckles forward and falls to the ground. Your
Okay.
claws are still in it, so
Mm-hmm.
you get slightly thrown about as it falls to the ground. You don't take any damage from it, but you are currently just hanging off the side of its leg.
Good. Good.
Next up is the behemoth.
Its turn will consist of having a seizure.
It's going to
Oh.
roll to break out of the stun. That fails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, right now, the behemoth is just stunned. There's nothing else it can do.
Good.
The men on the wall are going to now take shots, basically aiming down at it. So they have advantage on their shots. They cannot possibly miss.
You say as they all roll nat ones 2 times in a row each.
I mean, they could. And if they did, oh boy, am I not going to be happy. Alright. So, a majority of them are coming to the west wall to try and help with the defense. Let's see. So that is 1 hit. Still missed.
Guy, told you.
Another miss. That's a hit. That's a hit. That's a hit. Alright. So, 2 misses and 6 hits. So the hits.
Okay, I guess
What?
it's not awful.
Not terrible. Ooh, that's a big hit. Okay. So, as it has fallen to the ground, everyone on the wall that is within reach just points their guns over the wall and just starts unloading as much as they can. And
Alright.
a majority of the shots do land into the back of this thing. Its back is currently getting torn apart by just constant laser fire. It's looking pretty rough. George, it is your turn.
Goody goody. George just fucking god. Yeah, no, I'm gonna roll again because I don't want a natural. I want a natural 18, but I don't. Okay.
Roll again to do what?
To shoot. I'm just what is that? 15 plus 5. Oh, 15 plus 5. It's a 20.
So you're gonna shoot at it?
Yep, he's gonna shoot at it. With his claw, is this thing still gonna take shock damage because the claw is still embedded in it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. And I'm assuming he doesn't need to roll for that to hit because it's embedded in it.
Yep, so that's just gonna be shock damage from you.
Alright, cool. So it is a 19 damage from the double mag.
Alright.
And then 17 damage from the shock.
Okay. He's gonna roll to see if he breaks out of the stealth. He does not.
Oh my fucking god.
So, as you pull up your gun and just fire into it, it looks like it's trying to open its mouth to just let out a scream or a shout, but every part of its body, every muscle in it has just seized and locked up.
Good.
It is having a very bad day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, realizes that.
Next up, James.
Good.
So, after getting it on its knees, he is just going to take out his shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make a roll to see if he does this. Oh boy. So, as it's on its knees facing the wall, with you hanging off the side of its leg, shocking and shooting at it, the men on top of the wall shooting it down at it, James walks around back of it, pulls out his shotgun, and... Oh, I need to see if he does this. He shoves his shotgun into this thing's ass.
God, why?
Okay, and you just hear the gun fire, and the whole body of this thing lurches forward. It looks like it is really trying to scream. It is now going to try and break out again. Still fails.
The shot claws really turned this thing into a joke, hasn't it?
Next up, the behemoth.
Oh my god.
Okay. It has broken free of being stunned. Still being shocked as your claw is still in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks around.
Still blind.
It is still blind. Feeling, really, the desperate situation that it's in. You see it tilt its head up, and you hear...
Went full Ant-Man on this Thanos looking ass.
Oh my god. I'm assuming we're about to watch a bunch of somethings come out of the woods.
So, top of the round.
Mm-hmm.
George,
Mm-hmm.
make an athletics check.
Okay.
For you, that would be agility.
That is a that's a 17 natural, which with his agility is a 19.
Okay. As you are still in the leg of this thing,
Mm-hmm.
still about to shock it and still about to shoot it again,
Uh-huh.
you feel a hand clamp on your shoulder
Uh-huh.
as you get thrown out of the super behemoth's leg.
Uh-huh.
And as you land to the ground, you look up where you were just standing, or well, standing, where you were just hanging, and you don't see anything there.
Great. That's just great.
George, you're up.
George does not know surrender. In fact, is George close enough to try and shot claw it again?
You are close enough. You just have to run back up to its leg and shock it.
That is a 17 natural to do that again.
Okay. As you run up to it, you embed your claw right back into its leg in a different location.
Mm.
Roll for damage.
That's well, no, 17 damage because plus, but still.
17. Okay.
Yep.
In the middle of it letting out its shout, you jam the claw into its leg, start shocking it, and it immediately seizes up again.
Good.
So, it is stunned once again.
Great. George is going to shout as he does this, and as the super mutant behemoth is now shut the fuck up. He's going to shout to everyone within earshot, "We have stalkers!"
Okay. Next up, James. Oh god. Yeah, he's just going to fire again.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, that's a miss. So, as he reloads his shotgun and points it back up to fire, the behemoth seizes up again, and he gets thrown off balance, and his shot goes wide.
Okay.
Right. Next up, let me see. Ooh. Yeah, you don't have any passive perception. So, let's see. Miss. Miss. Hit. From where you can gather is in the direction of the feet of the super mutant behemoth. You do hear gunshots, more sounding like just regular shotgun blasts. At first you think it's Timothy, until you hear him just shout, "Ah, fuck!" And he takes...
Oh boy.
...16 points of damage. Alright, next up is the behemoth. Gonna try to break out a stun again.
Mm-hmm.
He does not.
Ha 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 ha.
Okay. Next up, top of the round. Actually, no. The guy's on top of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, if they get the killing blow on this thing, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
They're all gonna miss again.
Natural ones, all of them.
That's a hit.
Curse your dice. I guess it.
Hit. Hit. Miss.
Ha!
Miss. That one. Miss. Hit. And hit. 8 hits, 2 misses. So, let me just roll all the damage. As even though you shouted that there are stalkers, and even though James is seemingly getting attacked by something, all of the men up on the wall are focusing on this downed super mutant behemoth, as they feel it is the most dangerous enemy in the vicinity so far.
That's fair.
Let's roll damage. They're rolling real low. This thing is looking pretty beaten up, but overall, it's still alive and it's still kicking, but they are just piling up on the wall, aiming down and just blasting into it. At this point, not many of their shots are missing.
Okay.
So, top of the round, George, gonna need you to make another agility check.
Okay. That is a 15 plus 2, so that's a 17.
Okay. Once again, this time with a little more force, you feel 2 hands grab both of your arms and just yank you back and throw you to the ground.
Mm.
The behemoth is no longer stunned, still pretty out of it, and once you look back up, once again, there's nothing there. The rain is pretty heavy and you don't see anything. George, your turn.
Okay. That is a... Ooh, boy, that is 18 natural to shoot it again.
He's gonna resist the urge to run up and stab it again because he has a feeling someone isn't happy about that.
So you're gonna shoot the behemoth?
Yep, he's gonna shoot the behemoth.
Okay.
For 17 damage.
Alright. And that's 17 total?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, this behemoth is looking pretty roughed up. His entire back is pretty much just open flesh at this point. His legs have 2 big holes in them where you jabbed your claws into it and now shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
Its eyes are both gone, so it's not very happy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, next up is James. You hear from the other side of the behemoth a sound of a scuffle as he picks up his shotgun, aims, and fires at something. And as you hear the gunshot from his shotgun, you hear him shout, "Where the fuck are you?" Next up, goddamn, miss, and a hit.
It's the same one that hit both times.
It is.
Like, looking at his buddies, so like, Jesus, we practiced for this like 3 weeks.
Now all I can think of is just hearing from them, just like the simulations.
Good.
Let's roll for damage. Not high. Okay. And again, you hear another shotgun blast, and you hear James cry out once again.
Fuck!
And it is now the behemoth's turn.
Grace.
He is going to use his movement to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't know what's around him, what's near him, or anything. But he is facing towards the wall, and he's basically just right up on it. Lift up both of his hands and slam down. Hits. Not for a lot of damage, though. So, as he brings up his arms, you hear on top of the wall people shouting, "Look out, scatter!" As you watch its arms slam down into the wall. The wall buckles. You see where his fists landed, clearly dented in, but otherwise the wall is still standing.
Good.
It did not roll high enough to break that wall.
Good.
That is a girthy wall. Top of the round,
Okay.
George.
Okay.
As you're looking at this behemoth that just slammed down onto the wall, you see in front of you this large figure uncloak itself. And it is wearing almost all black. It does have similar claws to yours, but not the same. Basically like Wolverine claws, almost. It has a shotgun on its back. The only thing you can see as its entire body is just covered in cloth are a little bit of green around the eyes, and the eyes themselves just another shade of green. It is going to charge at you and try and hit you with its claws.
Okay.
13 to hit.
I don't think that hits. Let me
check.
double check. No. That does not hit.
So this figure is a little higher than you by at least a foot. Much more muscular, but it's still pretty silent as it runs, and it raises up its arm and swipes down at you, but now that you can see it, you have a better time of dodging around it. George, you are up.
It's gonna... confirmation. George is going to, with his natural 20, look at this individual as he activates the shock claw, look them in the eyes and say, "You should have picked a different dance partner," and stab them in the head with the shock claw.
Okay. Roll for damage.
Alright. That is 30? No, that's a crit, so it's actually 35.
35. Okay. This creature does manage to evade the attack that was going for its head, but your claws still manage to embed itself in its shoulder.
Mm.
As it sinks into its shoulder and as you begin shocking it, it looks like it almost looks like it's screaming, but no sounds are coming out.
Mm.
The mouth isn't moving or anything, but it is certainly in pain. Like it tried to dodge you, but not just there.
Yep.
Right. Next up is James. From the other side of the behemoth, you hear, "Ha ha! There you are!"
Okay.
Fucking. And you hear him pull up his shotgun. Well, you don't hear him pull up his shotgun. But from the other side of the behemoth, you hear, and then he shouts, "Fuck!"
God damn it.
And then he's going to use the rest of his turn to reload.
God damn it.
That's not very James of James, John. He would have just thrown it to the ground and charged the bitch ass.
Honestly.
Anyways, going back to washing dishes.
You see, he would have had he not been taken by surprise.
Mm.
And, you know, again, him just seeing these things, his initial reaction is to pull up the gun and fire. However, didn't reload it. Next up, the creatures on the other side of the behemoth. Miss. Fucking miss. And all of them miss. You hear what essentially amounts to just a whole gunfire going on over there. It's just a shooting range of shotguns on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is the behemoth. Gonna do the same thing. Raise its arms and slam down into the wall. That is a miss. As he raises his arms, still being pelted by gunfire, and now a little woozy from all the blood that it's lost, it stumbles back and swings its arm down. You do hear an audible whooshing sound from the sheer force that it's putting behind those fists. But it doesn't hit the wall.
Alright.
Top of the round, the creature in front of you. The creature that has now just been hit is going to try and pull away from you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural 20.
God damn it.
So it manages to yank its arm out from your claws. It looks very strained when it moves its arm, but it looks down at its forearm and you see there's this big metal object. It pushes a few buttons and then it begins to cloak. And in a matter of seconds, it's gone.
Great.
You're up.
Alright. George, decide. Oh, you've got to be fucking. I've rolled another natural 20. Do you just want me to roll again or should I use it?
Depends on what you're going to do.
I was going to shoot the behemoth again.
All right, I'll take it.
Alright. Actually, you know what? George is feeling like an asshole. George is gonna stab it again.
All right. If you're gonna stab it, then I'm gonna say re-roll.
Fine, I'll take the shot.
Okay. Well, because it's a lot easier if you say what you're gonna do before you roll.
That's true. That's true. I did change my mind. 25 damage total.
25. All right. As your bullet lands into the side of this thing, it raises up its arms to try and slam down into the wall again,
Mm.
but it stumbles backwards, trips on something, and falls to the ground lifelessly.
How much speed does George get?
George, 25 XP.
Cool. I can work with that. Do, 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 do. I realize George can't do anything else on his turn, but he is going to be looking around for these any sign of these cloaked creatures.
Okay.
Who he assumes. Wait, so you said he saw something metallic in it?
No, the creatures that you saw were fully covered in like black cloth, except for on its arm was a metallic object that it fiddled around with and then went invisible.
Okay, George has some theories, but they don't matter right now. Either way, yeah, George is just kind of passively looking around for any of them. Actually, does George still have movement?
You do.
George is gonna run toward Timothy.
Timothy?
Yeah.
On the
Or
wall?
wherever this shooting is happening. No, he heard someone getting shot.
Yeah, that's James.
Oh. That was Timothy. Okay, yeah.
No, Timothy is still up on the wall.
Okay, yeah, no, he runs toward James.
Okay. As you run towards James, you do see 3 similar figures in an open shootout with James, actively both sides ducking and weaving each other's shots. James pulls up his shotgun and points it in the general direction where he can hit all of them. Fucking natural 20. Did not roll high,
Okay.
but he still hit them. Alright. So he pulls up his shotgun, releases a shot, and all 3 of them seem to buckle from it. Next up is their turn. Seeing the super mutant behemoth fall, they all go to their wrists, fiddle with something, and then they cloak.
Alright.
Next up, George. What would you like to do?
George sees them all cloak and then presumably try to escape.
Possibly.
George is gonna look at James, just say, "We've won this day. Fall back to the wall and resume defense."
James looks at you, looks at the behemoth, and then shouts to you, "Like hell it is!" And he just starts swinging wildly in the air, trying to hit something.
George just kind of puts his head in his hands.
So are you
Here,
saying
watch this.
George's?
Yes, I forgot that face palming was referred to as Georging. I'm gonna say George at this point believes that James is durable enough that he doesn't need George protecting him from these things, and he's gonna walk back towards the wall.
So you're gonna try to climb the
Seeing
wall
as
or go to the front gate?
no, as in he's gonna head back to just guarding the wall, like he's basically gonna wait for James to decide that this is over. But he is gonna be on alert.
Are you going to do anything with the behemoth corpse?
You know what? Because George has actually been relatively successful with this in the past, George is going to try and perform a somewhat basic autopsy on it. Because George does not believe that this is a normal super mutant behemoth.
This is gonna take a while.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while, but you can do it.
George should leave this to the professionals. Are any of the guards close enough to George for him to try and get their attention?
There are a bunch of them right up on the wall.
George is going to shout up to them. Alert the scientists! We have a body they need to do an autopsy on. If they want to wait till after the storm, I can watch it till then.
One of them looks down to you and just shouts, "It's just a fucking behemoth! Throw it in the woods and be done with it!"
It was a behemoth that was intelligent enough to camouflage its movements. With it? Or rather, did you not see them?
A few of them start talking amongst themselves, and one of them leans over. "Prove it!"
Oh, you've got to prove what?
Prove that this thing isn't just some super mutant behemoth.
For fuck's sake. George is going to walk over to its head, and he's going to try to, as delicately as he can, cut it open.
Okay,
With
you're
the
going
claws.
to the head. With the claws.
Yeah.
Didn't
Can
we
he
already
toggle
determine the
shock?
claws were not sharp?
Yeah, the claws are merely blunt
Oh.
weapons.
God damn it. Let me think, because before you reminded me that, I did roll a natural 18 for this. Can I keep that if I come up with what he should do?
Nope. You gotta tell me what you're doing before you roll.
I said what I was doing when I rolled. But George is gonna try and use that natural 18 to somehow pry its skull open with the claws anyway.
Okay,
While trying to cause as little damage as possible.
that I will allow.
Okay.
So, it takes you the better part of about 5-10 minutes as you are trying to find the best way to open this thing up, how to crack this egg, as it were.
Mm.
But after a while, you manage to put your claws up its nostril and basically rip it open.
Yeah.
Inside, you
Mm-hmm.
find that the skull and pretty much everything inside of it is weirdly familiar to you in
Is it?
metallic shape, sense, and form.
It's vacant, isn't it?
What do you mean?
There's nothing in here.
Oh no, it has a skull. It's just a metal skull.
Well, I'm saying, like, there's no brain.
No, there is no brain.
George shouts up at them. You know, I know super mutants have a tendency to be a little stupid, but they at least have brains.
And typically they don't have metal skulls either.
A few of them are looking down at it. Some of them seem to back away from what it's just seen, and one of them just runs off.
Is the one who gave George shit still there?
No, he's the one that ran off.
Are any of them still there for George to call out to?
They're all still there, just looking at it.
George is gonna call up. You guys need to stop questioning me.
One of them calls down to you. This isn't normal.
Neither am I. This is the point.
So,
And
you just going
for now, George is he's just gonna hang out around the body.
okay.
He's not letting this thing go nowhere.
Okay. Lucas and Nancy.
Was good.
Oh, Nancy.
Nancy, dear.
Nancy, darling.
Bitch, where are you?
Probably muted.
That's a good possibility.
I muted myself because I was drawing, and it took my phone forever and a day to actually get back to the call page, so that
No
happened.
excuses.
What a bitch.
I am not a female dog, but I am
Debatable.
sad for you that you cannot distinguish human from animal. That is sad. That is sad.
Are you calling John a furry?
No,
I'll kill you.
I am not calling him a furry.
Why? What's wrong with furries, Marina?
That nothing's wrong with. Oh my God, y'all are trying to incriminate me
All right.
so bad right now.
Oh
I feel personally attacked.
hmm
Good.
Good.
Are we Freddy?
I am the Freddy.
You two are just hanging out in the science lab, drinking smoothies, talking
Welcome
about
to
girls.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Talking about.
I mean, the
boys.
only one of us that was drinking anything was me, and it was radiation. And apparently, to me, it tasted like the crispest bottle of water ever.
Good.
Yeah, it tasted just like water to you.
He's got that thirst.
He's a thirsty.
No, it wasn't Lucas who had the thirst out there.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
What is it with the Brotherhood and fetishizing ghouls?
I mean, you don't
I
know.
guess
a
it's their
fetish.
taboo.
Possibly.
I kind of feel like that is. Okay, moving on. Moving on from
Look,
this topic.
we all know after the Rad Whips, that scientist chick was, like, thinking BDSM fantasies about him.
God.
Moving on.
The real question is, who was the dom?
Oh. Probably not Lucas.
I don't think she'd be able to force anything on him.
BDSM isn't forced, it's consensual.
Yeah, I'm saying Lucas wouldn't allow it.
Oh.
Why do you sound sad?
Because Marina wanted to think about Lucas getting dominated.
By Charles.
Mm.
Charles could be
I'm
dead for all
totally
you
kidding,
know.
by the way.
Well, if
I
Charles
don't go
is dead,
that
Lucas
far.
has someone else lined up, apparently.
I don't go that far.
So, Lucas, as you finish getting dressed, and Nancy, as you get finished essentially berating a poor scientist just doing his goddamn job,
Sure. Okay.
A paladin runs in pretty frantically and says, "Someone, throw on some armor, throw on some just radiation-resistant anything, and come with me."
I got you. Where do I find the armor?
Nancy, no, you'll melt.
I want to go.
Nancy, go to your room.
I am a
Armor
strong,
should
capable
be
woman.
fine.
I am a
Yeah,
medic.
and if it's raining liquid acid, you will die.
That's why I want a suit.
She's not wrong. Why are you denying her the ability to participate
You
with the
can't
ability
tell
to
me what to do, Lucas. You're not my real dad.
No, I'm not a fucking drunk.
My real dad's a morbidly obese, psychotic man who I plan on tying up.
Again, Nancy with the BDSM shit.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
And I look to the paladin,
Where
what the
can I
fuck
find
happened?
a suit?
Ignoring this nonsense, what the fuck
I
happened?
want a suit.
Then go find a suit.
Where is my super suit?
Where's the suit, lady?
Wait, are you asking the scientist woman?
No, I'm asking the person who just ran in here.
The dude
The
that
dude?
just ran in?
Oh, it's the
It's a
dude.
dude. Look at this dude.
Hey, dude, where's the suit set? I'm down. Where do I go?
He looks over to you. "Oh, well, if you want one of the suits, just ask one of the scientists. They have some radiation-resistant hazmat suits."
I go to any scientist but the crazy lady.
That's fair.
Instead, you find her even crazier twin sister.
Whose name is inexplicably Tabaratha.
Baratha. You uncultured swine.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Considering the majority of the other scientists were standing around just watching what Lucas could and could not do, there are quite a number you can choose from.
I want the most handsomest, friendliest male scientist.
Ah, you want Goat Fucker Steve. An interesting choice.
Why is his name Goat Fucker Steve? Because that's his fucking name. Look, his parents hated him.
His last name is Go Fucker,
Goat Fucker.
No, his last
Not-
name is Steve.
but in his natural country.
He's not wrong. Oh,
My name is
God.
Steve. First name Goatfucker.
Excuse me?
You're kidding, right? No! Pleasure to make your acquaintance. As
I
he
wish I
awkwardly
would.
winks.
But yes, the most handsomest, friendliest looking individual. I want that one.
Look, Nancy, you're looking at the third shift. You ain't getting that.
Wow.
I'm looking at the what shift?
I in, sir.
Wait, what did he say?
You're looking at third shift here. You're not getting that.
I see how it be.
Michael. And
You've already
Matt now
got a
have
boo. You're
war.
immune to this.
But yes, do I find this gentleman?
Roll perception.
That's a 9 plus 2 is 11.
Alright. Not a lot of good lookers. All about average.
Okay.
So, there are a few male scientists that look relatively friendly. None of them too overly the top handsome.
That's okay.
I'll settle for above average.
I'll stand for very basic jawline.
Okay. You do find one with a very prominent jawline.
Why?
I was kidding.
Why is this the basis for your decisions?
It's not. I was joking around, but let's make it canon for shits and giggles.
You're
Okay.
just actively passing by every scientist until you find one you consider attractive.
I just
see how it
imagine
is.
Nancy going, beard's too long,
You
not-
shallow as hell.
not scruffy enough. His hair's too gelled.
scruffy. Jesus
That's
fucking-
a legit problem. Don't gel your hair too much, my dudes.
Anyways, while she's having an aneurysm trying to find an attractive scientist, I'm following the paladin back down to the fucking wall,
Okay.
and I guess I'll ask him on the way down what the fuck happened.
Well,
Some of the
I guess-
scientists, you do see Nancy as you're
Yes.
window shopping. Some of the scientists have walked over to a closet and are pulling out hazmat suits to put on. Specifically 3 of them, and are following quickly after the paladin that just left.
I run up to said very how did you put it? How did you put it, John? It was perfect.
Very distinct jawline.
Yes, I go up to him
here comes the
and I
crimson
say in the
train.
most serious, no bullshittery voice and like
Hello,
facial
I'd like to
expression.
ask you a question. Can you find me some new clothes?
God damn it. The worst part is that that's not incorrect.
I'm a medic. I need to be out there. Where's the nearest suit?
Okay. He looks over to you and points
Blinks
to...
a couple times.
Blinks a couple times. One eye faster than the other.
Oh!
There's the red flag.
Why, hello, dear. As he fucking tips his metaphorical fedora.
My lady.
He's a milady paladin.
Oh my god.
The
They
milady
gave him paladin
scientist
rank
guy.
just because they hoped he would die. They're baffled he hasn't already succumbed to some sort of deadly injury.
Yes, I go up to him and I say this thing. With a very serious, no bullshit tone.
Alright. He points over to exactly where the other scientists that just got the hazmat suits. The same closet, one of them still getting dressed by it.
Okie dokie. I salute him, and I rush in there and grab the nearest suit.
Okay. A little big for you, but you can put it on.
That's okay. I
Okay.
turn to Truffles. You're gonna stay here. Okay? You're gonna be a good boy. See that nice man over there? You see this nice man? He's gonna take care of you. And I point to a jawline guy. Can you stay here and take care of my dog? He's very important.
He looks over to you and looks down into the dog, and then looks back to you. Okay.
Why? Just why?
Much obliged. And she just heads out.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
God, why?
I love
This
it.
is awful.
Alright, and you're rushing outside?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the hero I am.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
After
as-
spending 15 minutes Looking for the sexiest scientist to ask for help.
Technically the friendliest, but attractive is nice.
You specifically wanted the jawline. So,
Ooh.
as you run as fast as possible and catch up to the paladin, the other three scientists, and Lucas,
Who I really hope put on clothes.
Yes, I have clothes.
yes, this was just after he finished changing.
Okay, good.
You do hear him explain how during the storm there was a massive super mutant behemoth that was trying to attack and break into the wall.
Would Nancy know what a behemoth is?
No, you would not.
At the mention of a behemoth, Nancy, you see me put my fancy new gloves on. I look to you. Don't touch me for a few minutes, and I take another swig of my flask.
I turn to Lucas. I don't usually touch you anyway.
That's the
She
point.
has a fair point.
Don't get.
But thanks for the warning.
If I get downed, just bear in mind you're gonna be taking rats.
Boy, you're not doing anything that's going to endanger yourself, are you?
Don't worry about it.
I'm worrying about it.
The fuck did I just say?
You tell me this like I can control my worries, man. I suffer from extreme anxiety.
Too bad.
Self-diagnosed, but okay. Give yourself, so you're getting yourself all the way to 200?
I had set myself. I literally only needed one swig
Okay.
from last time.
Then, yeah, give yourself a +1 to all stats.
Mm-hmm. An arbitrary +1 to my HP. I have 101 HP, guys.
Yay!
That's
You get hit
awesome.
for 100 damage. I'm okay. You take 15 poison damage.
I'm A-okay.
Dunk.
Dunk. God.
He's
Alright,
with the angels now.
Did you just say Shogo?
No.
Look, we both know Charles is not an angel.
He's also not here.
Mm.
I'm aware of that.
Probably
This
gonna be
makes me
real upset
sad.
if you die.
My yowies.
Stop it with the yowies.
So,
There's a time and a place, and it is neither.
you're just following after the paladin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Probably setting off. Probably setting off a variety of Geiger counters as if we're walking.
Mhm.
You do notice that the paladin is looking at you oddly after you took that swig.
Look, it's not alcohol.
I don't think that was his concern.
As you walk outside, the storm is still raging on, thunder, lightning, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The winds are starting to pick up, and the rain is what could easily be described as a downpour.
Okay.
Lucas,
Hmm.
you can feel that there is a immeasurable amount of radiation above you.
Okay. I'm assuming from the storm clouds.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's not from the storm clouds. It is the creature in the storm clouds.
Good. It seems there's a green dragon or a copper dragon in the clouds above us.
April would be fangirling so hard.
April should be fangirling hard as hell anyways because our characters are amazing.
For you, I will say you take Uh, 20 points of radiation.
20.
20.
Okay.
All right. And you follow the paladin as he goes through the last gate. Ugh. Second gate, and then onto the first gate. You
Mhm.
don't see Timothy as you're walking around, but for you that's not odd. Um, you're walking along the perimeter as the paladin is leading you. A lot of the paladins on top of the wall are on very high alert right now. And as you're getting closer and closer to where you assume he's leading you, you see, as you're looking over the wall, James, from what you can gather, possibly shadow boxing, or just playing in the rain, swinging his arms around wildly. The massive corpse of a 35-foot high super mutant behemoth,
Mhm.
uh, and George standing next to it with its skull cracked open like an egg, and inside is just a gigantic metallic skull.
All right. So George,
Uh-huh.
did you have fun out here without us?
Yeah, where the fuck were you?
He was getting
Experiments.
nuked. He was
I stepped
nuking
inside
himself
I
as
stepped
a
inside a microwave.
perverted scientist was checking him out.
I stepped inside a microwave to test out these rad abilities I've been getting.
Naked because of an
What?
evil scientist.
Man, it would have been great if we had those rat abilities out here.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would have been super, super happy to test them out. But I didn't know this was happening until, well, about 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
Well,
I got
yeah.
it.
Because myself, and sort of James, kind of took this thing down over the course of maybe like 5 minutes.
Got it.
Nan-
It was over the course
Nancy.
of maybe like 20.
Oh, was it? I guess I didn't really have a good time frame for it. Never mind. Retcon that statement.
Nancy's gonna take in the sheer magnificence of this fallen creature that she has never seen before.
Its back is entirely ripped open, and blood is just pouring out. Its skull is torn open, and there's a metallic skull. Weirdly enough, under the loincloth, there is blood just pooling.
I kind of, as I'm like pacing around this body and I get to that, I
You're
stop
on
for
top
a
of the
moment.
wall.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on top of the wall. They are not
Okay,
coming down from that wall.
Okay, that's fine. How tall is the wall, John? Is it like 10, 15 feet high?
It's about 10 feet high, so you can jump
clambering
down
down.
if you want.
Yeah, I'm clambering down. I was going down to George.
Okay.
And I'll say, as I'm like
Lucas came
pacing
down
around, and
George.
I get to the crotchal region. I stop for a moment. And I look at George. George, if you ever give me shit for kneecapping someone ever again, you're getting an EMP in your rectum the following night.
First of all, I had to choose between the safety of the town and the safety of me. Secondly, bold of you to assume I have a rectum.
Look, I'm sure you have a caboose cavity of some persuasion.
Gentlemen, I have a query.
Mm-hmm.
She points to the skull of the creature. So this has a metal skull. Is that normal?
Probably not.
No.
Generally, people's skulls aren't made of metal.
And
In
I'm
that
pretty
case-
sure. Finish your
Do you
thought.
think sorry. Do you think in that case it was created by the same people who made Vlad's fake mom?
kind of a like motion with his hand, and then looks at Nancy. I can't say that, but we have encountered another mutant type creature with a hollow skull before, in
Which one is-
almost exactly the same way. The creature that had blades for hands and crawled on walls.
Oh, my friend. Not at all.
Yeah, that's why I did this to begin with, because I was 90% certain that this thing was part of her repertoire.
Do you think she could be the same person who made Vlad's fake mom?
I do not know. All we've seen her do out in the open is modify mutants to be real angry.
Also, George, just a side note. Why the fuck is James shadowboxing in the field?
Is he still shadowboxing in the field?
He is still wildly flailing his arms, and you hear him shouting, "I'll get you! I'll get you!"
George, I'm gonna be walking out into the field. What direction did these things come from?
They came from the tree line. For clarity, they had cloaking, but not to the same effect, it seemed, as the stalkers.
That's fine. And at that, I'm gonna kind of point up. The rain's gonna help me here.
Okay.
John, I'm gonna kind of approach James. James.
He is swinging wildly and does take a swing at you.
Okay. Do you want me to dodge this, or is he gonna roll an attack?
I mean, do you want to dodge?
I guess I'm gonna like to dodge.
Roll agility.
All right, I rolled a 22.
Okay. Yeah, you do manage to dodge out of the way as he's swinging at you. As he looks at you, he stops swinging. Oh, I must have got him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if you did, which is why I'm gonna ask you to follow me for a few.
He kind of just shrugs and starts following you.
All right. John, I'm going to start walking towards the tree line, and specifically, I'm going to be looking for breaks in the green hue of the rain falling down.
Okay, make a perception roll.
With my bonus, that is an 18.
18. Okay. Looking around the immediate area, there is no breaks in the rain that you can see. However, there are footprints that are kind of in the mud-ish of the forest land, and they are leading from the woods out towards the wall, and then there is a second set of 4 footprints leading back into the woods.
I'm going to look to James, get some paladins out here.
He looks to you, looks at the footprints, and then you hear him say, "Yeah, I'm gonna need 4, maybe 5 people down here."
Right. And Bloodhound Lucas is gonna be tracking these motherfuckers.
All right, you're going to try and track the footprints?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The 1, roll perception. 2.
Mm-hmm.
As the as the thunder cracks above head, you take another 10 rads.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I rolled a 15 for my perception, by the way. I'm at 230 for my rads at the moment.
Okay. As you are following the tracks of these creatures, you do see they lead up to a tree and then just disappear.
They just go up into a tree.
The footprints lead directly to the base of a tree and then disappear.
Okay. Hmm. I imagine these things have been walking for a bit, and they've probably accumulated rads of their own. Yes,
Potentially, yes.
potentially. Do I have an idea of what the threshold is for the secondary stat boost is?
A threshold. You would need to take in, from where you are right now, you would need to take in a fair bit of radiation before you get to the second stat boost.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess that 400 is that threshold, if not 350.
Give or take, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to I'm going to kind of direct the paladins to kind of spread out in wings. And also, I'm going to point out, keep an eye on the trees.
Okay.
Ian?
Well, I was just
Go
going
ahead.
to ask George and Nancy, what are you doing while everyone else is fanning out and searching the forest?
George and Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
George is still hanging out around this behemoth corpse.
Okay.
Oops, I
Nancy.
didn't realize I was muted. Sorry. Continue with what you were saying.
Well, yeah, what are you doing?
I go up to George. So, did you sustain any injuries during this crazy large encounter?
He looks at you, thinks, and then just kind of goes, actually, no.
I don't
Surprisingly,
think-
no. However, James got punted like a football and thrown at least 3 times.
Should I make sure that he's okay?
Honestly, that might be a better choice.
Okay. Did anybody else sustain injuries?
Other than the guy I stabbed in the shoulder, no.
Okay. I'm gonna go check on James. You take care now.
Alright.
And I head over to James.
James
Alright.
is in the woods.
James! She's
The woods.
We are.
You just
He cannot hear you.
Laughter. Maniacal laughter and tree punching.
James! I would like to roll perception to find James.
Okay. Be my guest.
That's a 3. Plus 2 is 5.
Okay. So, you're going to go into the woods to try and find James?
Yes.
Okay. After about, I'd say, 5-10 minutes of searching, you decide to yourself, man, I can't find him. And as you're going to walk back to where George is, you don't remember which way you came from.
Ah, fuck me. Is there a climbable tree nearby?
You're in the woods. There were plenty of trees.
But is it climbable is what I'm asking.
Technically speaking, every tree is climbable.
Is it climbable for me?
That depends. Roll agility.
I mean, you yourself, based on where your settlement was, in your childhood, there was not much tree climbing.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
You can't really gauge what you can and can't climb. You just kind of have to wing it.
Okay. I'm gonna find the tree with the lowest of branches.
Okay. It's not too difficult to find, but every time you find one that has kind of low branches, you find another that has lower branches. So that goes on for a little bit, and
Okay.
you do manage to find one with. You still have to climb a little bit, but you can get to the branches pretty easily.
Cool. I'ma go on that tree and I'ma climb it.
Okay. Roll agility.
That's a 6 plus 4 is 10.
Okay. Not the strongest grip in the world, but you're able to climb up to, at the very least, the first branch.
Okay.
And you, as you were climbing up, you did slide a few times,
Mm-hmm.
but you are able to get up to where you can sit on the branch.
Okay. I'm gonna
Very
take a
lowest
squat
branch.
and sit there for a little bit. Catch my breath. Loosen up my hands and my fingers. And I'm gonna try again. And try to climb to the tippy top.
Okay. Roll agility.
17 plus 4 is 21.
Yes. So, with relative ease, now that you've gotten the hang of it, you are able to climb up all the way to the top of the tree.
Cool.
And as you get to the top and look over the horizon, uh, you are pretty close to the Arcwing.
Okay, cool. I'm
Yeah.
Is there anything else I notice while I'm up here?
Roll perception.
That's an 11 plus 2 is 13.
Okay. As you're looking around, you do see what you think are headlights coming from the paladins, as there are like, I'd say 6 of them, all spreading out throughout the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from that, you can't really see anything else.
Okay. I'm gonna head down.
Okay.
Do I need to roll anything for that, or can I?
Yes, you do. If you want to
Okay.
climb out of the tree, that's another agility roll.
That's a 3 plus 2 is 5.
Okay. As you're climbing down from the tree, not all the way to the top, like about a little over halfway, due to the rain, your foot slips on one of the branches and you fall the rest of the way down.
Wait, what was that last bit?
You fall the rest of the way down and take 17 points of fall damage.
Oh,
Ow.
yeah, I'm hurting. Hold on a second. Uno momento, por favor. I just want to add that to my thing and see if I have step packs on me.
You do have stimpaks, yes.
Come on. The Google Doc really doesn't like me today. It's like, no, you shall not see your stats. Alright, so 17 points, right?
Yes.
And how many points does Stempak restore again?
20.
20. Okay, we won't use it just yet.
Yeah, you got 3
So my health
stimpaks
is at 83, right? If I'm doing math right. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna start hobbling back.
Towards the Archwing?
Hmm.
Okay. So, you tell me, which direction is the Archwing in?
Oh God.
Because I said it. And this'll determine if you're still lost or not.
Did you actually say it?
I did.
I thought you just said I can see the Archwing.
I said you
But
can see the Archwing. It is to the blank of you.
I want to say it was the west.
Alright, so you're gonna start traveling west?
Try.
Okay. I want you to know, anyone else can just say anything to this.
I don't
where's
remember
the
where
fun
you
in that?
said it was.
Matt, do you remember which direction I said it was?
I don't, because this was a Nancy bit.
Okay.
Well-
So,
Being honest.
so,
God damn it.
as you're traveling west,
Mm.
after about 5 minutes, you think to yourself, I should have been out of the forest by now.
So is George just sitting around this behemoth corpse, just looking out in the woods like, where the fuck did they go?
Yeah, as far as you know, Lucas walked into the forest, James walked in after him, group of 5 paladins walked in after them, and then Nancy left to go find James.
And not a single one of them has come back.
Well, no,
George
because
is
the
just
paladins,
there with
Lucas and James, are all in the process of actually trying to accomplish something. Nancy is doing a Nancy thing.
George doesn't care. He's gonna look at, because it's been, what, over 20 minutes?
At this point, yeah, it's been about 20 minutes.
George is just gonna look out to the woods and he's just gonna comment to himself, and this is why the Brotherhood and the Commonwealth died out. Just start walking toward the forest.
Okay.
And I think that's where we should end it, because I have to get ready for work.
Alright.
Oh my god. Alright, good night everybody.
See you later.
Later.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I imagine George is just doing George things. Nancy, I don't know what your plan is right now.
I just wanted to find James, man.
And then you got lost in the woods.
I was trying to be a good medic. For once.
Well, then you should have gone with the hunting party from the start.
Well, I wanted to make sure George was okay first.
George is a fucking robot.
Doesn't matter. Robots have feelings too.
Not that one.
No. Unless you count seething rage as feelings.
Alright. So, where we will leave off is Lucas searching for these creatures.
These super mutant predator-looking motherfuckers.
Nancy lost in the woods. And George trying to rejoin up with the party. So yeah, good place to end.
I really hope this becomes a comedy of errors scenario where we keep passing each other.
It very easily could be.
Ah, my goodness.